I'm going to call to order our July 7th, 2022 election board meeting. Our first item of old business is the approval of minutes of our June 2nd meeting. And can I have a motion?
Second.
Karen, for the roll call.
And Chairperson Rana,
Yes.
Board Member Garlitz,
Yes.
Proxy Martin,
Yes.
motion approved, 3-0.
Thank you. So our second item is the late CFA-4 filers, and I'll turn it over to Karen Wheeler for that item.
Okay, so we had a number of late filers and we've dealt with a few of them. One was from the last board meeting, Mary Van Devender. The board agreed to waive her fines. However, we found out that since we didn't have a signed public notice, a public meeting notice signed, that the person on Zoom, which I believe was Chair Rana, that vote didn't count. We needed a unanimous vote so we could vote on whether we wanted to continue with her not having a fine. Did you want to deal with that, or do you want me to just go through the line?
Why don't we re-vote on that? And then I'll note we have Tree Martin here as a proxy for Clerk Nicole Brown. So can we, I guess, do we need a motion for that, or can we just take a vote, or how do we do?
You needed to take another vote for accepting her explanation and then waiving her fine.
Okay. And then can we just do a roll call, or should we do motion and second? And
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
oh, do we need to do a formal motion and a second, or can we just vote on that? We might as well do the motion, I guess. I'll ask for a motion.
Probably.
I would move to waive the fine and just per our discussion last meeting.
I second that.
Okay, and roll for the roll, Chairperson Rana,
Yes.
Board Member Garlitz,
Yes.
and Proxy Martin.
Yes.
Motion approved, 3-0.
Thank you.
Then I have two letters, I believe, or at least I'll start with one. I think I have two. So one was from Holly Harvey, and she is asking for forgiveness of this. And you have that letter. Do you want me to read it for the record, or do you want to read it? You probably have it in front of you.
Yeah, I think everyone has reviewed it, and I guess, are we supposed to read it into the record? Should we?
We didn't, the others.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I thought, but I guess it's available if needed, right?
Okay.
Just because it's a long letter.
Yes.
And I think we had discussed earlier that our policy for a first-time violation is to not impose a fine, and give the person another opportunity to do it correctly the next time. So, and I understand that this is a first violation for this.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, excuse me, hers is not, it is her second time. However, I think it's the second one is also still forgiven. Do you remember that?
The first one was forgiven.
Do you
The
know?
second one, they attached a dollar amount. It wasn't a great amount, but it was a dollar amount.
I really don't know for sure, but I know one of them, I don't know if it was the second or the third, it was 25%. But I don't have that in print of what.
How late was this?
It was 5 days late. Her first one, she was 1 day late, and it was the January 2019. So that would have been the annual for the 2018.
And we did waive the 1 day late, correct?
She was 1 day late and she was forgiven.
And what's the fine typically?
On this one, it's 5 days, so that is $50 per day, $250. It's 25%.
Is this the only one that's second offense?
Yes,
And then the deadline was a Friday, so do we count weekend days also, or,
no,
okay,
not weekends. though.
so it's 5 days late starting the next Monday? Or is it 5 days from the Friday deadline?
You know what? It is the 5 days that is including the weekends
Okay.
on this one. And I don't think we count them. I don't know. Do we count the weekends? I don't think we do either. So that 5 days is incorrect.
Do they have an opportunity to turn it in on the weekend?
No,
So then I don't think we can
Yeah.
fairly count those. So
Yeah.
that takes away 2 days, so it's 3 days late, so $150, is that correct?
I would believe that's correct.
And this is the only second offense, right?
Yes.
So then to keep things simple, because it's kind of a matter of precedent and policy, I would move to waive all of the first time offenders. And if Tree said it's typically been a percentage of the total fine that we've done for second, and what is that?
I believe it's 25%.
And 25% of 150, I'm not gonna do that right now. For polycarbonate.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Okay.
37.50, probably.
How much is it?
37.50.
All right. And will there be a letter sent out to her?
Will there be what?
Will there be a letter sent out to her?
Yes,
And who will send that letter?
I've been doing it, so I will do it.
Okay.
If you're okay with that.
Yeah, and then should we just motion and approve? Or I guess, can I ask for a motion for?
I'll second that.
All right. Chairperson Rana,
Yes,
Board Member Garlitz, Roxy Martin,
Yes.
and that motion has been approved 3-0.
thank you. And does that take care of all of the late CFA 4 filers? Is that-
If you are, was that a part of your motion? I'm sorry, but I'm having a hard time hearing, but if that was part of the motion, first time offenders were all forgiven and she was only the second one, hers is 25% of the 3 days, then I'm good.
Okay,
Isn't there one more? Isn't there one more late filing?
It was also a first offense.
Okay.
And which one
Okay.
was it?
It was a political party.
What?
Wasn't it a political party? Because the person that.
Oh, we had them before. So that was the young Monroe County Young Democrats.
Mhm.
Oh, they need to be. Looks like that needs. That one actually does need to be voted on also because Dominic recused himself. Although we forgave him, but if
Right.
that's first offense. If that still is included in that motion, then they're still good.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I recall we told him that we thought that was the policy, but we'd vote on it this time, so we might as well because he had to recuse himself. So, yeah, I guess can I ask for a motion?
Oh, I did have another letter, just so you know, but she's a first offense and it was Efrat Freeferman. And she sent that to me this week, Monday, June 27th. And I think I forwarded that to you also. Okay,
So I think we can say, just to be clear, since we deferred the vote previously, can we just do a motion that these two late CFA 4 filers that we just mentioned, if we consider them under the first offense, no fine category? And then we might as well do a motion just to be super clear since,
it's still all included. Good.
okay, I think we're good. Okay, thank you. So our next item is the board policy regarding public meetings. And I believe where we are on this, unless you wanted to jump in. but-
This is basically just saying that if there's a hybrid meeting or in-person meeting, it's still a good meeting. And that will be put into the record also.
Yeah, and this was adopted September 2nd, 2021, and we, I guess, are voting to
Mhm.
authorize it and put it into the record
There you go.
as,
Uh-huh.
great.
just to continue that. So
Ah.
people can still join us at home too. That makes sense?
Yes. And I guess. I
And
need
it's
to
still a
second.
valid meeting.
How often do we need to renew this?
I'm thinking it's a yearly thing.
If I can jump in, sorry, for clarity, I'm on Zoom. Hi, and you can't see me. I waved at you as if you could see me though. It's just ratifying the hybrid policy that was adopted back in September, November, whatever date Ms. Ruthie stated. And it's actually allowing not the public to view, but the members' participation in the hybrid meeting. So if one of the members has to participate virtually, this lays out the guidelines for doing it. So I think once you adopt it, I don't think it has to be renewed annually. I think it just needs to be adopted.
Okay.
Okay, so we're moving to ratify the Monroe County Election Board policy regarding public meetings, first adopted on September 2nd, 2021, and we'll ratify it going forward, I guess.
Correct.
So we need to vote on that ratification, or do we just?
All I know, which Molly will probably correct, all I know
would-
is that it's not.
I would suggest a vote. I would
Okay.
suggest a vote to ratify it and then members sign it.
Okay,
Okay,
Motion to ratify the meeting policy.
in a second. Okay, that was the
Okay.
second.
Yes,
And
I'm sorry,
then-
I second that.
Yeah, and I also wanted to verify that it's been signed by all of the election board members. So,
That was fine.
okay, so can we have a roll call?
all right, Chairperson Rana,
Yes.
Board Member Garlitz.
Yes.
Proxy Martin,
Yes.
and the vote has been approved 3-0.
Thank you. So we'll move now to our third agenda item, which is new business. And the first item there is updates by Karen Wheeler.
Okay, one of the things that was mentioned at early voting was that we did not have a bike rack. And is that something that the election board would like to provide for voters?
Do we have it? Is it, do we know that it's possible to put a bike rack? And then do we have the price for that or the approximate cost?
I did look at a couple of them. There's quite a few different designs, and I'm sure it'd probably be good to talk to some bike people that there were some unique looking ones, but maybe everybody hates them or maybe everybody loves them. We had one or have one at Election Central. If you're not paying attention, you never see it, but it's over on the others. I mean, it's right there in the parking lot. But it looks like you could get a bike rack $300 or less, I would think.
Okay.
Which building are you
For
putting?
this would be for the election operations.
For the Napa building, is that?
Yes.
Okay, so would we vote to authorize it and then it goes to the commissioners as a budget item, or how does that work?
I don't know. Molly, are you listening?
Yes. I guess it would depend on what line on the budget I think it's coming out of, and if there's, like, do you have the funds to pay for? It's not a contract to buy, or it's not an agreement for services. It's like a one-time purchase. So I don't know that it has to go to the commissioners. I'm happy to check to verify that.
Please check.
I can.
And I'd also like to throw out there is a portable bike rack, you know, the ones that were around for 100 years before all these permanent fancy ones. Is that not acceptable? I mean, surely the Parks Department has a bike rack somewhere that we can put at Napa.
I think
That's a good idea.
I think it's a
Yeah,
good
That
idea.
is a good idea.
I mean, I'd like to look into that as well to keep the cost down if
And
possible.
truthfully, we only had one person that asked, so I don't even know how big of this is. However, we had a small election. And if I would have seen that person, I would have just told them they could bring their bike in. But if we had 10 people riding their bikes, that would be a problem. So
I think it's a wonderful accommodation. I just would like to not have to expend a lot of money other than putting
makes
one on a
sense.
truck and bringing it there, hopefully.
So let's do this. Let's hear back from Molly to see what the commissioners are saying. If the commissioners have no problem with it, I'll start making some phone calls to see if we can get us a used one.
Okay.
That sound good, a used one.
Great idea to me.
And
Okay, that's good.
I'm happy to check with the commissioners. I also wanted to bring your attention, because I just noticed it. Miss Morris is making comments in the chat that was pertinent to the vote on the late filers that I don't think we noticed.
Okay, I can read that she was confirming that we haven't typically applied a fine.
Yeah,
Um,
I just wanted you guys to be aware of it because I just noticed
Yeah.
it, so.
okay, I guess has everyone read it? Do you think we
Mhm.
need to?
No, we're
I
good.
think we're, okay,
I still think we're,
Yeah.
yeah,
okay, okay, great. Thank you.
new precedent.
That's right. And Karen, do you have additional updates?
That's pretty much it. I guess too, I'm starting on the ballot. And that is probably the biggest job of this job. And so there's a lot of things in place. Of course, school board hasn't even started. They will be starting their it's going to be open July. It's going to be the end of July. I don't remember the date, maybe the 26th, something like that. And then it runs for a month. Right now, any candidate can remove themselves from the ballot for no reason up to July 15. And so things are moving, things are filling in. A lot of things look really good, but there's still a lot of parts to be filled in here.
Okay, well, thank you so much for all of that. I know it's such a big effort and obviously so important for moving forward and for November. You're welcome. Hey, our next item is public comments, and we'll do what we've done in the past. If there's anyone present who would like to make a public comment, you can come to the podium. If there's anyone online who would like to make a public comment, you can use the raise hand function or type in the chat and let us know that you'd like to speak. And I will give everybody a minute. Thank you for, I was just going to ask how we can view. Okay, so it looks like we're now able to see all of the online participants, right? So, okay, great. Okay, so I don't see any raised hands online. I don't see anyone here in person who looks like they want to make a public comment. Going once, going twice. Okay. All right, so no public comments, and then we will move. Our next agenda item is the announcement that our next county election board meeting is August 4th, 2022 at 1 p.m. Same location, at U Hill Boardroom, and I believe we'll have the hybrid option as well for public participants. So with that, can I have a motion to recess or adjourn?
So moved.
To adjourn.
To
right? I
adjourn,
should have asked for
sorry.
a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
Chairperson Rana,
Yes.
Board Member Garlitz,
Yes.
Proxy Martin,
Yes,
motion moved.
we're adjourned.
Motion moved. Is that right? Gosh, 3-0. Thank you. Approved. There we go.
Thank you. So that will adjourn our meeting and see you next time. Thank you.